Tacos, tacos, tacos. I wish I had some tacos. Looks like we're getting to everything but Twitch. I'm so worn out. I drank an energy drink to try and stay up. I had some guitar parts to do. Got stuff tomorrow. I got a band in still. I'm falling asleep. I gotta get this thing done. Let's see. I guess better check and see if. Oh yeah, I don't have my headphones in here. Shoot. Let's see if this is actually playing. Just gonna turn this up for a second. Oh yeah, looks like it's good. Okay. Okay. What number are we on? Sorry again, band in the background as usual. This has been a very long day. I've been recording since 12 and messing with other junk since early this morning. Got bands in all night. Okay. We'll start recording in a second. These guys are loud. Jesus. Alright. There's nothing I can do about it, really. Yeah. I just gotta hope that my talking is louder and that somehow this thing doesn't get me DMCA'd. These stupid content ID things. I mean, come on. It's not like I'm trying to get this in my... I'm not making money off of this crap playing in the background, okay? Man, I'm not on YouTube making money from having somebody else's music playing in the background. How about that? Does that sound correct? They're just loud. Okay. So I'm going to start in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Dropping In at Pipeline Audio. This is number 54, The Never Ending Pursuit. This week, I had some actually looking for some gear and stuff like that, as usual. Maybe I'm looking for some recommendations from you guys. You guys usually have some stuff. First of all, jeez, these guys are loud. Sorry about the background noise. I'd like to get some good, cheap isolating headphones. I have some that are kind of okay. There are some Sennheisers, but they let too much click through if you're playing acoustic guitar. Definitely too much click through for drums. So something with a little bit more isolation would be good. There's some Audio Technicas I have that work really well, but they're pretty expensive, so I'd like something cheaper. Man, I'm sorry how crazy loud these guys are. This is just getting ridiculous. Isolation here is not very good, speaking of isolation. So yeah, if you guys got any recommendations for cheap but well isolating headphones, hopefully something the artists can wear and not really be too encumbered by. Is that how you say it? Encumbered? I think that's right. Also, I want to put some DI boxes out there so all the students can record without worrying about losing our good DI boxes. And if you remember a couple months ago, last year, whatever, I did all those tests of DI boxes. And, honestly, remember that Rapco or Whirlwind, whatever, the DB100, it measured as good as the Radial JDI. And I'm sure there's some kind of God of the Gaps argument out there that there's something magically better about the JDI sound-wise that I'm not able to measure with all these different measurements, but, I doubt it. So I'd like to get a new version of that. They don't make them anymore, but there is a Rapco Horizon DB1, I think it's called, And Phil Zio has them. His family sells them, so I'm probably going to pick up some of those. But, we have a Guitar Center in Hawaii now, so I took a look on their website, and they didn't have that particular model, and they had live wires, and I think it's called live wires. Are those things any good? Phil says they're not, so Phil, you just dissed Guitar Center. But I was going to have somebody go grab them, but, like I said, Phil said they weren't very good. I'd still like to measure them, so maybe I'll get them anyway. I don't really have that same measurement and testing system set up, so I'm not sure. But you can bet if I get my hands on these DB ones, I will try and do an apples to apples comparison with the Radial JDI, and we'll see if they're as good as they were. I mean, you want to pay $200 for a DI box, or you want to pay $40. That's what it came down to. But if there's others that measure as well, let me know. I mean, cheap ones that I'm not going to die if they get stolen out there. I'm almost tempted to hot glue them to the floor, but that's probably a bad idea. So anyway, that's that for DIs. We're still on our vaporware watch. I see people talking about Luna. I saw a claim that the third-party plugins couldn't do zero latency. I don't think that's true, but that was a claim on the Gear page, I think. I don't think it's out there yet. Is it shipping? Has anybody actually run it? How about the Pod Go? Did we ever find out what effects are missing on the Pod Go from the Helix LT or whatever? Is the Pod Go shipping? Has anybody seen is it an app or is it some kind of software to control it? I really hope it's not gonna be like the Firehawk effects where you lose Bluetooth connection and you gotta re-log in and remember your password while you're at a show or whatever. That was ridiculous. Please don't make us do something that dumb. So if anybody's seen the software, the control software for the Pod Go, let me know. I'd love to take a look at it. Or is it vaporware? And then the Neural DSP, whatever that box was that everybody was talking about, is that thing out yet? I haven't seen it. I have seen some really cool stuff from Audio Assault that would maybe make you reconsider that box. I mean, that box is some hardware, so it's going to be very useful on a gig. But man, recording wise, we've never been so spoiled with these plugins. I think that Joshua Lopez announced that he's playing bass for Immortal Guardian. Is that right, Joshua? That's pretty awesome. He was putting out a bunch of flyer pictures, some shows coming up. Go check it out on his page, Joshua Lopez, or I'm sure you can find it from Widowmaker Studios or Legator Guitars or any of them places. So, I think what were we talking about last week? Dan Worrell had another video out with sample rates and stuff. And I see a lot of people misinterpreting the stuff he's saying. I think he works for FabFilter or he makes FabFilter or something or whatever, but that doesn't mean that he's not putting out useful information. You should consider what it is that he's actually saying rather than the straw man words you may be putting in his mouth. He made a pretty compelling case for 48K versus 44.1. I was thinking that filters were pretty good nowadays and we didn't really have to worry that much, but I'm really considering again going with really considering switching to 48K again. I think you guys remember back in the day when I had the DA88s, I was running 48K, and then eventually somehow I went back to 44.1. It didn't really matter because my mastering engineer, he would always convert in the analog world anyway. Matt Merman, thank Matt Merman. So that didn't really matter, but I went to 44.1 for some reason, but I'm sure it had something to do with CDs. And you know what? I'm not really seeing that much CD. So what are you guys thinking of the pluses and minuses on 48K versus 44.1? I mean, like I say, CDs, I don't know. If we really have to convert them or something, I'm sure we can. Video, most of the time the video is going to be a multiple of 48K. It's probably going to be 96K, honestly, but I think YouTube is at 48K. Is that right? And then of course the anti-aliasing filter. I don't know. Check out Dan's new sample rate video, Dan Worrell, and see if that filter claim is something you really think about. Right?
Oh, thanks. Do we have time for one more song?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sweet. Thank you.
All right, sorry about that. Yeah, he seemed to make that there's going to be a pretty big difference between 44.1 and 48K. So if you guys have, do you have any compelling reasons to stay at 48.41 instead of 48K? The system that I have, because of the AES 50 and all the different networked audio that's all connected here, it is a little tricky to just switch back and forth at will. And I do have a bunch of 44K projects still out there, but I don't know. I really am considering going to 48K and staying there. And it's not just for that anti-aliasing filter, which I'm really not that worried about on it, to be honest. There were some other plugins that worked easier there, and it just seems like maybe it's time. And of course, you probably wonder, hey, why don't you just go to 96K? We were very early adopters of 96K way back in the day. We picked up those Army 80 IDS converters, a bunch of hammer falls so that we could run at 96K. Never really had any advantage, plenty of disadvantages. Seems like Dan Lavery says something around 60K would be the ideal, the ideal sample rate. I really don't have any. Do you guys have compelling reasons to go to 96K besides that anti-aliasing filter? It seems like any plugin that really needs to work at higher sample rates. And look, I'm going to admit it. I don't really hear the aliasing problems with compressors. I know people say they're horrible and they're awful and stuff, but I just don't hear them. And I can get to them pathologically if I really try. And remember, a long time ago, I made a video about aliasing in compressors and amp sims, but in reality, I barely hear it, and I'm not really that worried about it. So, yeah, I would, if I do need to upsample for something, I think I'd rather just my plugin did it than having 96K files. But if you have good reasons, let me know. So my other thing is, it's driving me nuts, these themes, these Reaper themes, and it's not just Reaper. Like, even again, the reason Reaper was made is because it seems like most of the developers out there had never been within 20 miles of a recording studio. You don't know what we need in order to work, or what many of us would desire in order to work. Let's put it that way. I'm not going to speak for everybody, but like for the instance, the new Reaper 6 theme, the contrast is so minimal. I mean, I know all these people are like, oh, it's so, check your eyes, and yeah, I'm wearing glasses now, so, but the contrast is, look, if you're recording drums, if you're editing the hell out of drums, you really have a lot of different things you have to be able to distinguish between. And the grid lines, man, they are so hard to see. I'm sorry, in the default theme colors, come on. They're really, get a busy 13, 14 drum tracks. And so you think about it, you got an item, you got a selected item, you got to be able to distinguish between those two. Muted item, you got to be able to distinguish between those three. The time selection inside an item, time selection inside a selected item, outside the time selection. You got a lot of things that have to have a lot of contrast. And I've been really begging Justin for years, can we get some kind of color invert, or just some kind of logic system that really I just don't know. But we really need some way to make more contrast, especially on these grid lines and really the stretch markers. You can't even see those. And the snap to markers, come on, give me a break. We really need some contrast. Boy, this is just a really short one today. I'm sorry about that. I don't have all that much. But the last thing that I really want to talk to, I can't wait till we get the default nitpicky theme. I tried some other themes, but again, the other thing, you can't, I want to see as many tracks as possible on the screen. And I seem to get more with the default than any of the aftermarket or third-party themes or whatever. So maybe that's just a thing when we get 4K monitors. But like I said, my eyeballs are starting to go bad, so I don't know how much I'm going to be able to fit on a screen anyway. So the other thing we're working on, really wondering about compressor topologies. If you guys know a source that has a lot of time constants for different types of compressors, I'd really love to see it. I'd really love to see a little bit more real information, not this general marketing information that you always see everywhere about, what are the different, types of, how the different types of compressors really work, I would love to see. I'd love to see why this compressor does what it does, that one does what it does, and I used to have a pretty good handle on this kind of stuff, but not really good enough, and I'd like it to be a lot stronger. So if you guys do know some sources with like I say, time constants for like attack and release, like how these different topologies work, so like VCAs, FET compressors, Veramu style things, so like optical compressors, all that stuff, and remember, I'm not always trying to emulate ancient gear, but I would like to be able to make things behave a certain way. So you guys know where any of that stuff is, let me know. And I really don't have much anymore today. We'll see you guys next week. So this has been Dropping In a Pipeline Audio, episode 54. And, like to say, like, comment, subscribe, whatever, share this. And I'll see you guys next week.